Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. Another paid request, this time for Jonathan. Thank you so much for that. He sent a couple in. I'll do the best I can. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Good Morning Vietnam, which Robin Williams did that a lot better than I could. If I try it like he did, I'd lose my voice. But Good Morning Vietnam is a film that I've warmed up to, because when I first saw it, I heard of the hype, and I liked it okay, but I mean, it's there. But I would say watch it again with a bit of an older twinkle in my eye. I do enjoy more now than maybe I did back then. I would say there are other Robin Williams films I enjoy more. Club Paradise, I always get a lot of chuckles out of. I enjoy Jumanji, I enjoy What Dreams May Come, among others, but I can see the praise this film got. It's directed by Barry Levinson, who did Rain Man, and after this, he would work with Robin again on Toys. He's always been a fan of Toys. I think it's a fairly underrated Christmas movie. And this was a film that Robin Williams was nominated for an Oscar for this film. Now, eventually he would win an Oscar for Good Will Hunting, but this is one of the films he was nominated for the main Oscar. He did not get it, of course. This came out in 1987, was a pretty big hit. I think it was one of the top 10 biggest hits of the year. And he plays a guy named Adrian Cronauer, who was a real guy, but even he admits that if half the stuff happened to him, or if he did half the stuff that Robin does in this movie, he'd be still in prison. Or at least military prison. Because, I mean, it's loosely based. There was a real Adrian Cronauer. He was a guy who was a radio host, disc jockey for the military during Vietnam. But a lot of stuff are either embellished or a lot of Robin Williams ad-libbing, because Robin was a master of that. I mean, if you watch an interview with Robin, which there's many of them on the internet, you could find that he was a guy that could just go off on anything. And I don't mean go off in angry, I mean as in, inside the actor studio or any other interviews, he could take what someone said and just make a whole skit out of it. His brain just worked that quick and that fast. And at that time, he was mainly known for Mork and Mindy and some stand-up. And he had done some films, but he wasn't a big star at that time. Movie star-wise, I should say. He was more of a TV star. But I mean, I think Club Paradise had come out before then, and that film completely bombed. It was a film Harold Ramis directed. And like I said, I really liked Club Paradise. Had Rick Moranis in it, among others. I'm trying to think what else. I don't remember when Dead Poets Society came out. That might have been after this. I can't remember for sure. I want to say it was after this. And you have films like The Fisher Teen in 1990 or 91, give or take. I think it was 91. Could be wrong. I'm bad with dates and names. Aladdin, of course, came out after that. Jumanji after that, and so forth. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Whenever I see a film with Robin Williams nowadays, it's in a way a sad affair because of how he passed away, why it happened, why he did what he did, because of his brain and what was going on with his brain. And maybe not really too dissimilar to what's happening with Bruce Willis in a way. And it's just sad, and I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, but it's just for all intents and purposes, he seemed like a very nice, cool guy. I always remember the story, and a lot of times I tell the story about how Judith Hoag, who was April O'Neil in the 1990 Ninja Turtles film, I don't remember which interview she said this in, but she mentioned she had worked with Robin on Club Paradise before that. Not Club Paradise, got that on the brain. Cadillac Man. And Cadillac Man is a fun movie, where Robin played a no-shit guy. That's, I would say, one of Robin's more underrated films. Cadillac Man. That's a fun one. But Judith Holt was in that, and I guess Robin had heard she was going to be in this film. That was going to be her next project, so he gave her Ninja Turtle comic books to look at. Like I said, I can't remember what interview she said this in, but I thought that was really kind of a nice, cool story. You know, the link between him and Ninja Turtle. I don't know, just a nice little tidbit. But in this film, it gave him a showcase that while, no, it did not stick to the real-life material, it gave him a showcase to really let loose on the radio with his ad-libbing. I don't know if the Blu-ray... I don't think... Actually, no, I do have this on Blu-ray. I just could not find it. So I did watch it online. Probably in the clutter over there of physical media. But I don't know if it's just Barry Levinson said, okay, here's the general gist, just go, or let's just film whatever you want, and I'll take the best shot, the best ad-lib, the funniest one, and go on from there. And it's pretty much him on the radio during Vietnam, getting into shenanigans, at times being told what not to say, a bit of censorship. There's also a bit where he tries to teach this class and tries to go out with this girl that doesn't work out, so he goes out, he's hanging out with the girl's brother, and they become friends with each other. Has a pretty good supporting cast. I mean, you got Forrest Whitaker, which at this time, right after this, he would be in Bloodsport, and then he would go on to bigger films. He was in Species, and then many critically acclaimed films, Last King of Scotland, The Butler, among others. You had, and Forrest Whitaker is a great actor. You also had Noble Willingham, who I remember is the bad guy in The Last Boy Scout, or at least one of the main bad guys. I believe he's also on Walker, Texas Ranger with Chuck Norris for many years. You had, what was it, Bruno Kirby, may he rest in peace, who was in City Slickers with Daniel Stern and Billy Crystal. J.T. Walsh. It's sad, now that I think about it, there's a lot of people here no longer with us. Robin Williams, Bruno Kirby, J.T. Walsh. I don't know if Noble Willingham is with us. I'm not sure. I mean, it's sad when you think about it. Like, J.T. Walsh was a great character actor. A lot of times he played the villain. He's sort of he's the villainous character in this. You know, also the villain in Kurt Russell's Breakdown. He was in Needful Things, a lot of other stuff. And Noble Willingham is the general that brings Robin Williams into it, because the guy they got, as he puts it, this guy's, well, actually Robin says, this guy's as boring as well shit. And as Noble Willingham puts it, this is just DJ, it's not brain surgery. So Robin's trying to get to know the area. Oh, the two guys who censor stuff, they're actually the twins in Terminator 2. Remember the scene where the T-1000 comes up and you have the security guard, and it's the two guys, and one puts the sharp implement to the guy's eye, and they're played by twins. I think they're also in Gremlins 2 as well. They're in this. They don't have a lot to say, but it's nice to see them in there. And it's a lot of Robin Williams doing his bits. Some would say it's kind of an extended stand-up bit in a way, but it definitely showed what he could do. Like Viva de Nane, that sounds like an Elvis song. Viva de Nane, Viva de Nane. Or the record screwing up slow speed. If you were covering from Hanover, this'll sound fine. Or doing the do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Alan Crete, he's entered the demilitarized zone. Or he's teaching the people how to speak English in the class, and hey, babe, what's happening? Let's groove, and you know, teach you a bit about cursing. he's friendly with the young Asian child, and some soldiers try to rough him up, and Robin stands up for him. Come on, guys, why are you picking on a little kid? He tries to headbutt one guy, and it doesn't work. He's like, oh shit, and he gets punched. Probably one of my favorite lines throughout his radio sessions is, well, you can't say dyke or lesbian. It's just a woman in comfortable shoes. Or he's doing characters. The weather is hot and shitty. It will continue to be hot and shitty. And I say that's where the movie's strengths lie, is when he's in the radio station. And a part of me wishes the entire film was within the radio station, because again, that's when it pops off. I think the battle should just been his fight against censorship, what he wants to tell people, and a good chunk of the movie is. When it tries to do the bit of the love story, I mean, it goes nowhere, which is refreshing. The girl keeps telling them we're from two different worlds and nothing will happen. The one thing with the kid, I mean, I didn't dislike it. It's just it was the least interesting part of it to me. And maybe this is more truthful, although I doubt this happened to Adrian Cronauer in real life, but there's no resolution. It's pretty much spoilers. You find out that the kid is part of the VC and had saved Robin from a bombing. But later, J.T. Walsh finds this out, and that's what gets Robin kicked out. And he tries to talk to the kid. The kid explains his story about, well, this family and this friend, this relative died. And Robin's like, well, you used me and you did this. But then the kid runs off, and Robin's yelling, and there is no summation, culmination. Other than him saying goodbye to the girl, and the girl saying, wish things were different. Like I said, there's not really much of a other type of culmination, and just, like I said, the stuff in the radio station just felt the strongest. His battles with either the Bruno Kirby, who thinks he's funny on the radio, and that's an entertaining scene where he tries to be the new DJ, and people just absolutely hate him and shit on him. Or J.T. Walsh, like, Bruno Kirby's the more funny villain, and J.T. Walsh the more sinister villain. I think him fighting those two to fight against censorship, like I said, that was the more interesting story point to me. And, you know, you could deal with the whole politics of Vietnam within that regime. Again, just the kid who's the VC, it wasn't badly done, it just was less interesting. Other than there's an impressive explosion where Rob and the kid come out, and they're in the same frame as the explosion. The camera doesn't cut. So it's not like, oh, they interjected a stuntman. So that was impressive. But first and foremost, it's the Robin Williams ad-libs that make this film work. And make it enjoyable. Even though the film seems maybe a little tad long, over long. But when Robin's saying lines like he gets in a fight with one of the superiors and he tells the other guy, in the dictionary, under asshole, it says, see him. I also like the scene where he's fed up about this, he's tired of the censorship, why do I want to go on there, and Forrest Whitaker tries to change his mind. So they're in a Jeep and there's a bunch of troops around them and other trucks. And hey, look who I got here. And Robin's like, oh, shut up, shut up. But he does say, this is Adrian Cronauer, the voice on the radio. And Robin's talking with the troops, and you can tell that's a lot of ad-lib. Like, one guy stutters, and I would not be surprised if that wasn't meant to happen. But Robin goes along with it. So it just seems more real and more genuine. And, you know, okay, well, that's why he's doing it. These are the people he's entertaining. The guys going out there, and some of them may not come back. And I kind of wish more of the movie delved into more of that to be in the heart of it, instead of this girl that he can't get and this girl's brother that screwed him over. I think him and the death of these folks out there, and some of the people he might have talked to, entertained on the radio, or got letters from, and some of them didn't make it, and how knowing these people need to know the truth, and you're censoring where it's their lives on the line, and you're here in your cushy chair. I probably would prefer even more that direction, and completely in that direction. But again, Robin's on all cylinders. What he says to J.T. Walsh, you know, you're in more dire need of a blowjob than any white man in history. That is, I thought was pretty damn funny. Even Noble Willingham admits that was pretty damn funny. And just watch it again made me really miss Robin Williams. And Barry Levinson is definitely a fairly competent director. I mean, you do this film and Rain Man. And like I said, Toys I think is underrated. I don't love every film the guy's done. Was The Bay, which is like the found footage film I have. It's not the worst film ever, because I've seen much worse since then. But I have my issues with the Bay. And but on the flip side, he did Diner. That's a pretty decent one. I don't mind Sphere. A lot of people hate Sphere. I don't mind it for what it is. But yeah, I think the movie, at the very least, to see Robin Williams and him having fun on the radio, that makes it worth a look. As well as some nice supporting cast. Forrest Whitaker, it was nice to see him in an early role. He's having fun with the part. Like when Bruno Kirby's bombed so badly and people are sending these bad letters, he's like, listen, we need to get Adrian Cronauer back. I mean, look at this letter. Oh, this guy says to sweat off a dead man's balls. I don't know, sir. I mean, that seems pretty negative to me. So, I get Forrest Whitaker, like, he's a good actor. Nice to see him. You also have Robert Wuhl. He's the guy who played the reporter in Knox in the 1989 Batman film. I forgot he was in this. He was in this TV show called Arliss for a few years. And I guess years after this, there's talks of a sequel called Good Morning Chicago, where Robin's character would be in Chicago and it'd be some part of, was it a Democratic, some kind of political rally, kind of like politics of Vietnam. I don't know how that would work. I mean, it would have been interesting to see what Robin could do after being in the business even more so with after a few years. Would have been I mean, did we need a sequel? No. Would I have been curious at that time? Sure. But I guess people didn't really see eye to eye on the script and it just never came to be. But with that said, it's a fun film. I mean, is it my favorite Robin Williams film? No. Like I said, to repeat one last time, some stuff with him and the girl and him and the kid, yeah, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't as interesting to me as the radio stuff is what I think a lot of people remember about this film, and it's definitely the strongest parts of the film. I would love to have instead maybe focused more of delve a bit more into Forrest Whitaker's character, and Robin kind of maybe picking Forrest's brain, or picking the other people's brain, or something to that sort. But with that said, I really do miss Robin Williams, man. He was a great talent. I would say he was a comedic genius. Seemed like a nice guy. And I don't know, there's a lot of people that are pretty big piles of scumbags and they're still around, but yeah, Robin Williams is gone. Just not fair. Just ain't fair. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.